What is up, crypto ninjas? Wingnut here for the weekly price action video where we're gonna take a look at what's going on in the crypto markets and try to figure out a little bit of a prediction on where things may be going for the next little bit. So before we get into it, of course, I am not a financial advisor. Everything you see and hear on this channel is all just educational purposes only. You obviously need to do your own research, figure out what you want to do with your own money. I'm not here to tell you what to do with it. I'm just here to tell you what I think is going on. I'm just some dude on the internet, so do your own research. All right, starting off as we always do, we're going to take a look here at good old Bitcoin, which obviously didn't quite follow my pattern. I expected it to fall down here, but it actually pushed back up. We're still trending more or less sideways, just in a bigger range than I expected. So let's go ahead and we're gonna delete out my blue lines here. Let's get rid of these because they're in the way now, because it's obviously not going to do that. But I actually see we're kind of bouncing between here and about here. So 30,000 and 36.5. And I think this might be more what we see now. We may not see the crash down to 25,000. We still may. We're still not out of the woods yet. Until we start staying up in this region, up in here, up in the high 30s into the $40,000 range, I'm not going to call us out of the wood yet. We still may see another drop, but it seems like we're more staying in this range here. So my belief is we're going to stay, we'll call it this area, bounce around in here for a little bit. Give me back my regular tool so I can move it over. So I'm thinking we're gonna bounce here 30,000 to the 36,000 range, kind of like we have been doing. I mean, we've not been in that box very long, only since the 18th of June, so we're not even like a month inside of just this range. But we've tested it a couple times. We tested trying to come back out there, and then we tested trying to come out here. So it seems to be this 36.5 point seems to be a pretty good strong resistance line. I'm going to give it a 2-pointer because I think that that's where we're going to be seeing the price action at, and I kind of think we're going to see the price action down here. So let's bump the visibility up on that one a little bit as well. I think we're gonna see a lot of price movement just in here. More focused at the top. I do see like a lot of consolidation coming in here, but I do see us dipping down into this region a couple of times more while we're bouncing around in here. And then, you know, late July, early August, we start seeing a movement up into this way. And then once we see things clearing and breaking and staying up in the like the high 30s, low 40s, especially once we break, retest, and come off this $41,000 line. Once we can do that and we can maintain, that's when I'm going to consider us out of the woods. That's when I'm going to say Bitcoin is ready to start doing its recovery. Because right now we're weak, we're low. We can see that the average true range is falling right down. Like the volatility in Bitcoin is dropping right off, which is good because it's dropping right off in the higher part of this region. Like we're consolidating up in here, so it's good signs. If we take a look at things on the up here on the weekly chart, let's make her big here. We can see that this week has been more or less flat. Like we've pushed around big time. Like I said, from 36 and 33 points. So that's like a $3,500 range. That's a pretty beefy range there for a week. But we've more or less stayed right in the middle section. Like we've lost a little bit of price for where we were last week, but we're mostly flat. Kind of a doji looking candle here, but it's a little middle for my liking anyway. But there's been a lot of price action, but it hasn't moved the bar a lot, which is a good thing to see. It's a nice thing to see. Last time we saw a nice non-movement candle, we had a nice push up. Of course, it came right back down, but you know, it's looking good. There's momentum is falling out. The volumes are low. Like this is the volume. The week's almost done. We've got what, 2 days left before the new week starts, so the rest of today and tomorrow. So our volume is lower, which is nice to see. It's nice to see on a down week anyway. You know, we want to see high volumes on an up week, but if we pop this out to the hourly charts, now let's make this good and visible here. We can see we actually had a pretty good hour here a couple hours ago in the middle of the night. Nice little push up there, but that was mostly to recover some of what had lost in the couple of days before, because we had a pretty good run up a couple days ago. Pushed up what? Let's bring it right off the very bottom here. We had a good push of 22%. I have to make this smaller so I can get the top and the bottom. Right about there to right about here. So 21.34%. That was a pretty good gains there. And then we only retracted back 10%. So didn't lose most of what we gained. So that like things are looking better. Like I said, I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I'm not ready to start saying the bulls are back in control. Everyone should go buy a bunch of Bitcoin, but things are feeling better. Like I feel like we're in a period of recovery. Like we're getting there. Like the steam of the bears are running out, but the bulls haven't quite taken over yet. Now there's a battle, so we'll see which way it breaks. Because like I said, we could still see it going down in the short term if the previous patterns aren't broken. Because like I said, we were in a downtrend, so just because we had a good week doesn't necessarily mean we're out of the woods. Because if we're looking, we had a higher high, lower low, and this is technically, if this was a peak, we set a lower high again. So we're technically still in a downtrend. Things are still in a down market. Bears are still technically controlling this market right now. But it's the volatility's coming down. Things are starting to concentrate in a more centralized price, and it feels more like things are going to change. Like a reversal is coming, but we're just not there yet. Like I said, I expect to see us trending sideways here for a little while yet before we start pushing upwards, but it feels like that's coming now, as opposed to, oh, we're gonna dump off way low and then we're gonna bottom out and then make it back up. It feels like maybe we don't have to bottom out before we come back. It feels like maybe we just need to bounce around sideways for a little bit within this region and see how that plays out, because that feels more like what's gonna happen now. But again, I'm just a guy on the internet. What do I know? I could be way wrong. We're gonna have to see how this plays out, but I have good feelings that, you know, the worst may be behind us with a little bit of bad to come. So we'll see. But that's gonna do it for my Bitcoin review. All right, next up, we're gonna take a look at Bitcoin's little brother Ethereum, which again, performing better than I expected it to do. I thought it would stay right in this little box, and I watched it climbing up for a couple days going, oh yeah, we're right in that box, and then it went right on past it up into the next little box up in the what is it, 22 and a half to $2,000, $2,100 range, I guess. So nice little tight little box that it's in there, but it seems to be maintaining. It came back down and it's coming back up, like bounced off the bottom of this line again. So this may be the range that we see. I'm not quite ready to start extending my boxes here for Ethereum yet, just because, well, no, it's been out of there for most of the week. You know what? We're gonna do it. Let's go ahead and delete my previous markings off here, and let's grab a drawing tool. Because I think, oh no, I'm not. I need to draw. I get over here. Wish these had. I'm gonna have to figure out the keyboard shortcuts for those. So maybe we're gonna see Ethereum bounce around in this range now, with possibilities of, you know, some little minor dips coming down here at points. But I think mostly in this range. You know what? We'll finish the car looking picture. It's a little car, maybe a spaceship. I don't know. With a couple little dips down and below, possibly even coming down to the bottom of the range again. But it's hard to say with the way the market's going. You know what? No. I'm gonna even delete these. No, I'm still drawing. Let's Control Z them right off. I need to hedge myself a little bit here and say the whole area is going to be where we can come in and head out. Because we did come down and we bounced off the 200-day EMA, but I foresee us coming back down into this range, at least into the middle of this range, maybe not the full bottom of it, but I can see us coming down into this range a bit more before the like mid. Oh no, that's way too vertical. I don't think we're gonna go that way, and you know, see us going kind of this way. With Ethereum, yeah, maybe into the mid like $1,900 range we're gonna see the price come down to. I really don't know if we're gonna come all the way back down to 17 again. I mean, we were there twice in the last, well, week and a bit, so it is possible for us to get back down there, but I don't know, something about the way the market's been this week, just there's not been a whole lot of news come out, which is, you know, good or bad is one thing, but I don't know, something about the way the price action, it just, you know, just went straight up and it came down, just retested this line, tested the 200-day EMA, and was like, no, we're cool to just chill in here. That I just feel like we're going to, excuse me, I need to have a little drink here. I just see us bouncing around and not coming all the way. I think we're just gonna stay like in the, you know what, let's go ahead and put a soft line in here at 1900 somewhere. Come on. Let's make you orange, because I'm not quite you're not quite a proper line that I want to put on the map, but I just need it in there. I just need it in here because I think this might be the range that we bounce around in. I don't know. I'm pulling this number out of my butt. You know, it's kind of in the middles here of not having been either support or resistance before, but I'm gonna say it. This is where we're gonna bounce around at. That I feel we're gonna bounce around at while the summer of bear plays out. We've had a little bit of it so far where it's been kind of sideways, but I see us still, you know, sideways more for at least the month of July before we start seeing some recovery. Now, again, once we break these lines, we're still not out of the woods. We still need to, we still need to break these lines. Why are you just kind of sitting there at a weird number? I don't know, I'll fix you later. You should be at, I don't know, $3,000. Once we break the $3,000 range and we can stay above that and we can maintain good buy pressure up above it, that's when I'm going to start saying that we are out of the woods. Coming up past these lines just means that the momentum is starting to heat back up in our favor. Doesn't mean that we're good yet. We need to keep that in mind, you know, just because we pushed out of here, we still need to push out of these red lines, out of these upper resistance lines before we can start looking at getting back up to the blue line here at the all-time high. That's, you know, we still got a long ways to go before we're breaking that line. I'm just thinking short term, you know, we need to break these lines and then these lines, and then we can think about breaking these lines up here. So, you know, we're gonna come sideways for a bit and then we're gonna start that recovery process off. We're gonna start seeing ourselves getting back into the higher highs. Because again, just like Bitcoin, we had a, I don't know, we'll call this the zigzag line here. So if we draw some lines, this, why did you only let me draw one of them? Then we come down like this, and we come up like this, you know. We're setting those lower highs and lower lows. So we are still in a down market, but it feels like the momentum of the downtrend is starting to peter out, and that we might start seeing a little bit more of an upwards push again. That's the hope anyway. Again, just some dude on the internet. Do your own research, put your money in where you think it's gonna go, not where some guy thinks it's gonna go, but this is what I'm thinking. You know, Ethereum looks pretty strong. I don't have any worries that we're gonna bottom out and, you know, dump below 1550 anymore. It feels like we're gonna more or less go sideways here for a bit before we start the recovery. So that's gonna do it for Ethereum. Before we get into the next crypto, I'm just gonna say, if you're not already doing crypto trading and you're thinking of getting into it, you may want to consider using Binance. They're a pretty big centralized exchange. They can got all the ways you can buy and trade your crypto using spot market, futures markets, whatever you wanted to do there. They've got staking pools. They've got their launch pad where they do, I wouldn't call them ICOs, but they help get new projects off the ground with their projects and all of that. So if you want to get started on Binance, you can use the link down in the description below and you'll save 10% on your trading fees. And, you know, cheaper fees is always good. And for our next crypto, of course, we're going to take a look at Polkadot, which it's actually stuck right in the box that I figured it would, staying in between $13 and $17. It came up, tested the top of that line, and it came down. It hasn't come all the way down to the bottom again. It's starting to make a little bit of a pullback the last couple of days here to go back up towards the top of that box, but I don't see it getting out of there. Like I said, it's been in this box since the 21st of June. So today is the 3rd of July. So we're looking at a couple of weeks of it, well, a week and a half of it already being in this box. So I foresee it staying here. This is kind of where Polygon has decided that it wants to be price-wise for now, or sorry, Polkadot has decided that it wants to be price-wise for now. Holy crap, it's obviously not MATIC that we're looking at. That's coming up next. Yeah, Polkadot it seems to have found this little price bubble that it wants to hang out in, which admittedly is the lower end of the range that it's been in recently. But I don't see it dumping off much lower than this. I think it's gonna hold this little box here and till like the end of July. Move this down. Go here. Make it the 1st of August. And then kind of just, yeah, we'll slide this down a little bit too. So same as the others, I think we're gonna see about a month of this sideways action. And I think this box that I did pick there last week, I think this is gonna be the box that we see it in, because you know it's been tested here. This $17 line, we've tested it on a number of days in this period that we've been in there, and it hasn't wanted to come out yet. The bottom of it, I mean, I think $13 is the very bottom of it, but I don't see us actually touching it that often. You know, most days that we're well above that point. So I would say for the foreseeable future until the end of, like I said, end of July, the July of Bear, we're gonna call it. I don't know if it's gonna be a full summer, because I think the bulls are gonna start pulling up again. We don't need to just break these lines. We need to break these lines too, and then we need to come back up. We need to fight our way all the way up here and break the all-time high of $50. So once we break these lines, market's healthy. We start breaking these lines. Bulls are running the show. We break these lines. Bull runs back in full swing. So Polkadot here is doing healthy. I don't think that we have to worry about it dumping off anytime soon. Like I said, we had the death cross there the other day. We had one down day, and then it's just like, nah, that doesn't matter, because again, the 200-day EMA only starts back in March, and we don't have a whole lot of historical price data. So like I said, I didn't put a lot of weight on that death cross really causing too much of a problem for Polkadot. It did. I mean, it caused a little bit of a sell-off day, but that also could have just been natural sell-off day because we reached the top of this point. We tested our resistance line and we came back down off of it. So this probably wasn't even related to the death cross. It was probably going to come back down, even if the EMAs weren't even there. So Polkadot's another good one. It's gonna just hold its own for the probably the rest of the summer, and then we'll start seeing the recovery phases kick back in. So not a lot to say here on Polkadot. Its action has been quite sideways. So that'll do it for this one. And next up, we are going to talk about Polygon and the MATIC token. Let's just start right off by moving this off to the 1st of August and sliding this over, because it's also doing pretty much the box that I said it would. What was last week? What was a week ago? It was the 26th. So right about here was where we talked about it, and I made the box prediction. So yeah, we've been inside of it the entire time. I was a little worried we dipped below, but that was before last week. So again, we've came up, we've tested this line at $1. What did I put at 25? And we're coming back down. this seems to be like a good range that Polygons are going to want to ride out this this bear trend in. I don't see it dropping below it. It might touch above it for a little bit, but I think this is probably going to be a good safe bet range for again for the month of July, until we start seeing the recoveries of breaking back up into these other resistance lines and start making some actual good movements. I think we're going to see a lot of sideways action, and Polygon's basically playing out exactly like I thought it would. Some of the other ones have outperformed where I figured they would be. Polygon's one of the ones that's fallen right in its little box that I told it to be inside of. Again, I'd rather it be pumping, I'd rather the whole market be going up, but I just saw the little box and I figured it was going to be in there, and so far it has. So there's not a lot to talk about here with Polygon. Just I would expect to see more of the same for the next little bit. And last up, we've got Cardano's ADA token, and what can I say? Look at this little bastard performing well. I figured it would fall all the way down to like the $1.20 range and bounce around there, but it's climbing. It's probably gonna stop climbing here soon. Let's go ahead and we'll remove these lines because they're no longer relevant. I don't think that, this is the run for Cardano. I don't think that we're gonna see it start pushing way up yet. If I was a betting man, probably we're gonna call it $1.50 because it's a nice even number. Let's throw down a line here. Let's call it a green line, even though it's technically a resistance line right now. It is in the oh, I didn't go through and set the colors on this one yet, or the thicknesses. And let's set it at $1.50. It's green, even though technically I think it's going to be a resistance line. It's in the lower bands down here where these are the upper ends. There's a method to my madness, but I think $1.50 is going to be our kind of our ceiling here for the next bid. I can't see us pushing way out of that. If we break $1.50, then I'm going to say that, Cardano is on its recovery. I won't say the market is recovering because it's going to take a lot of different cryptos to all be in the recovery phase before I'm going to be willing to say that. But if you look at Cardano's action, it came off the dollar line on the 22nd, and it's been on, it's had a down day there to have a price correction, but it came back up, retested that line, and now it's above it. So this line at $1.40 that, really should have been the resistance line for this box wasn't. And we're currently pushing above it. Now we're testing the 50-day EMA, which is another soft resistance line. And we did come back off a little bit hard off of it during the day here. Let's pop into the old hourly chart for ADA. So you can see it was actually just recently that we managed to get all the way up to the $1.40 line there, and we got pushed back a little bit, but we'll see how it plays out, because ADA somehow is outperforming what I would consider most of the rest of the market. Like, if anything, I would call this an ADA dominant day, because everything else is not performing as well as Cardano. And I can't really explain it because all of the good news surrounding Cardano is all on the test network. None of it's been put onto the mainnet. Like, Alonzo's still not on the mainnet, but people are just, I guess, maybe seeing the potential there and wanting to get on while it's cheap. Would be my only real guess, is that people are really digging buying ADA on discount because they know that it's gonna fly up. And yeah, so it's hard to say what's going to happen exactly with Cardano, because it's behaving outside of the norm of the market and outside of what my predictions would have said. So what I'm thinking is, if it can keep this push, if it can come back up, retest, and take the 50 EMA and start retesting the $1.50 line, I'm going to think that this is our box. $1.50 to the $1.30, $1.25, we'll call it. How's that look on these lines? Yeah, that's where it should be resting, on the bottoms of some of these. Yeah, so we'll call this the box, $1.35 to the $1.50 range. If we can't maintain it, if we do manage to dip back lower and we pull below $1.40, and we manage to fall back below this $1.40 line, then I'm going to call this our box, $1.40 to $1.25. The next couple of days will be very telling on how tight this box is going to be. If we can maintain, if we can push back past and take $1.50, then I'm going to have no idea what's going on with the market, because it really, until Bitcoin starts that run, none of the alts should really be able to do it, because Bitcoin dominance is on the rise. It is not alt season. So if it can break away from Bitcoin dominance and break this $1.50 line and start making a good run now, then Cardano could be in for some big jumping, because if it can pull ahead of the rest of the market and start taking market cap now while the rest of the market is bleeding it, or at least just holding, then that could be a very strong sign for ADA. But the next couple of days will be telling. It'll all depend on if we can maintain and push from here, or if we slip a little bit. It's a precarious day to try to make a prediction on what's going to happen with Cardano, because we're right in a transition phase between different predictions. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Maybe I'll make a midweek prediction about ADA on my website, which will be linked down below, to see if we can figure out where things are going after we've seen a couple of days worth of market action. So, like I said, if we get up to $1.50, this will be the range. If we don't, this will be the range. And if we break $1.50, then hold on to your butts and get ready to fly, would be my guess, because that'll be outside the market by a lot. Unless Bitcoin suddenly makes a big reversal and starts running, then it's just following Bitcoin. But if it does it before Bitcoin, then be ready for a ride, would be my guess. So that's going to do it for my Cardano review. Alright, and that's going to do it for me for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and throw a like on it down below. Make sure you're subscribed so you can get all these videos every Saturday when I put them out. Get all my views on the stuff. I've also got links below my website where I write a daily blog Monday to Friday, and a bunch of other places that I post stuff. So yeah, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to get the hell out of here. Have yourselves a good week.